This is my Penn State Iowa recap. Penn State was able to earn their seventh win this year to move on to a 7-2 record as they beat Iowa 41-14. It was a big win and they really looked good during it. There really wasn't any doubt really from the first quarter on really because Penn State has struggled starting this year and they really took control of this game. It was 7-0 I believe at the end of the first quarter. Then Barkley got a big run for 14, and then they got another touchdown for 21-0. Then Iowa got a touchdown, and then Penn State got a field goal to make it 24-7 going into the locker room. So even then, it was still a game, but it didn't look good. Even when it was 7-0, Penn State took the opening drive down. Then on the next possession, they missed the field goal. It was a blocked field goal. But even at the end of the first quarter, it looked like Penn State was going to take control of the game, and that's what happened. And they played well, and it was just a good win for Penn State. Barkley really got going. He got 167 yards, and they took him out with over half of the fourth quarter left. So he probably would have gone over 200 again. And he's really showing a lot of promise in this game. In these games, he's really playing really well right now. And I said that the key for Penn State to win this game was for them to get Barkley going, and that's what they did, and they won. Iowa couldn't stop Barkley. They couldn't stop the pass. And they couldn't really stop Barkley, and they had a hard time even with the pass against. And McSorley got some good running plays. There's a little bit of questionability on who is going to be running the ball. If it's going to be McSorley or Barkley, you don't know, and that's big because sometimes it fools even the cameraman, and that's a big deal. Also, all day, Penn State's defense did very well against Iowa's running game. There was probably like fourth and one, like a couple fourth and ones that they held them, and a bunch of third and 1 or 2 or 3 that they held them as well, which was big. They did have some penalties, but overall, it really didn't cost them. Their 2 drives were just where they came down. They got some passing plays going, and that really didn't really impact the game. I mean, when they got their 2 touchdowns, they really didn't matter anyway, especially at the end when it was 41-7. Penn State just looked better than Iowa tonight. Yesterday. I didn't make the video. Yeah, last night because it was late. So, it was just a good win. Now it's 7-2. This Penn State team might be able to run this table. I mean, I said that before the Ohio State game. I'm like, well, we're gonna lose to Ohio State, and then we might be able to win out and go 9-3. Well, we beat Ohio State, so now we're 7-2, and we got 3 games left. And Rutgers and Michigan State are winless in the Big Ten, so those games shouldn't be real hard. But you still gotta play them. Rutgers is gonna love to play Penn State, and Michigan State's not that bad, honestly. And now they get an Indiana team who's pretty good, but they're not great. It's an away game. I think Iowa was their toughest game. Iowa and Indiana. Maybe Indiana because it wasn't an away game, but if Penn State can win these next 3 games and get to a 10-2 record, with how the playoff committee ranked them in their first one, they have a good shot at making a New Year's Six bowl, especially with Nebraska falling today to go to 7-2. And if Penn State and Nebraska are both 10-2, I probably will think that Penn State will get ahead of them, mainly because Nebraska lost bad, 59 points to Ohio State. So I think that if Penn State can keep going, I mean, technically they still have a shot at the Big Ten East, but let's be real, okay? Penn State has to win out, which can happen. Actually, ESPN has Penn State 9.6 wins. So that means that they're all added up. They're favored to win 10 games. They have a better chance of winning 10 than any other win total. So, but the thing is that Michigan has to lose twice. Okay, who do they get? Iowa, Indiana, and Ohio State. Ohio State can easily be a loss, but they need to lose another game. The way they beat Maryland today, they thumped Maryland. They thumped Maryland. I honestly think Michigan might beat Ohio State by the way they're playing right now. But I mean, if Penn State blows out Iowa, I think Michigan's gonna blow out Iowa. Um, I know it's a home game for Iowa, but I can't see Michigan losing to Iowa or Indiana really. But we've seen crazy stuff happen, and if it does, it only takes one chance. And if it happens, then they lose to Ohio State. Penn State goes to the Big Ten championship game, and if they win that, we don't know. Um, but it's really, really bleak for Penn State to win the East Division. But who really would have thought after they were 2-2? I was saying 6-6, 7-5, with probably 4 more losses on the year coming to, I guess maybe Minnesota or Maryland, Ohio State, Iowa, and probably Michigan State. So it just didn't look good from September 24th on, and this team's gonna have and it just really looked bad, and it looked like even halfway through Minnesota, kids started a Fire Franklin chant. I can't imagine them being 7-2 from that point on because they look terrible. I remember thinking, every year it's going to get farther and farther away from the glory years, and people are going to start forgetting about it. We had a now we're probably going to be in the top 10. But now you just got to focus on Indiana. We got to take a game by game and try to get to that 10-2 mark for a very good season. So that's a wrap for this video. Penn State got the job done. So this was my recap. Go Penn State. Peace out.